This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
Hey y'all, it's time for Rolling Dice and Taking Names. In this episode, the guys review Emberleaf, Barony, Citizens of the Spark, and Positano. That's all Marty had written for the intro. It's not too late to turn it off.
Hello, welcome to Rolling Dice and Taking Names. This is episode 355, Hot Fun in the Summertime. My name is Marty. What?
I'm waiting on Vanessa. Come on. I mean, my heavens, I guess I got to live up to my obligations now. I'm Tony.
You got one episode off. One episode. That was it.
It could be more if she wants to.
She had fun doing it.
I know. I'm sitting here listening to it and I'm thinking, okay, she's having a big time. I don't know how you coerced her into doing this, but if there was any type of food product involved, just let me know.
Okay. So it's easier to coerce her to sit down and record than it is to play a game and record a review about it. Because there's no prep or anything. It's literally, I'm just sitting in the chair, let's talk. She can do that.
She can do that. Okay. And I also noticed that there were no funny videos with her listed on our YouTube channel either.
Because we didn't use the tool that we use now, there is no video.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were face-to-face with each other.
A lot of people who record on YouTube are face-to-face. I'm just pointing this out. I'm just saying.
That is true. That is true.
Okay.
But no videos. I actually thought about that. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to clip this out or something like that. But not.
Right.
No. She had a good time, and thanks for those that enjoyed and sat through a lot of that, which had nothing to do with games. In fact, all of the stuff that we talked about had nothing to do with games. Hey, but it was fun to have the little segment in the outro just talking about the movies that we had seen, what we liked.
Yeah. And I also noticed that you covered a lot of the same shows that we've talked about previously. So I was sitting there thinking when you said to her, I know you haven't listened in a while. And then she's reliving everything. I'm like, yep. Yep.
Like, yeah, we've talked about all this stuff. Do you remember in elementary school? Yeah. We've been through that many times.
Mm-hmm. But hey, I appreciate her covering for me while I was off into the wild blue yonder of going on vacation and basically just, I don't know, enjoying 65 degrees while you were sweltering in the hundreds here in the Carolinas. I was unreal. I hate I missed that. Was it hot?
The time that you were gone, it was pretty hot. We were pushing, the heat index was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for those over in the UK or basically anybody place else besides the US.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to do those conversions. I'm not very good at that because I was like, okay, what does the hotel room need to be set at? What is 18 degrees Celsius? What is that? Is that normal? So we just hit it, and if it got cold enough, we were good enough to go to sleep. So I was going to say, there's one thing I did want to mention that when we were on our vacation, 7 days of it was on a cruise ship, and I did get to see this guy. His name is Tom Crosby. He is the performing nerd, and he has made a whole show around the Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
That's what I said. When I first saw it start out with him, like the Rubik's Cube, but he's actually been on Penn and Teller doing Fool Us, and he fooled them. So good for him. But it was interesting to see that and his ability. And so one of the things I sat down with him, he was in the dining hall, in the mess hall. I came up and introduced myself because he had mentioned that he was a nerd and he enjoyed that. And we sat there and talked for 30 minutes about board games.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so maybe he's listening to our podcast. He took us down.
What board games is he into?
Why did you ask me that? I didn't write a list down and it's been 2 weeks.
I didn't know if it was like deep into it like we are, or more of the, me and my friends get together so often to do Ticket the Ride, the Catan, the kind of entry level stuff.
It was actually a heavier game. And it was, so when he goes on the cruise ships, certain ones know him. He runs a modified, Beyond the Watchtower? No, the social deduction game.
Blood on the Watchtower?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
So there was a 10-minute conversation about social deduction games with me. You know how well that went?
I'm sure that was a blast. Did you sit and play Blood on the Watchtower with him while you were there?
No, not a chance. He says he can get it under 3 hours now, and the cruise ship's on. I'm like, knock yourself out, man. I have no desire to play that one. He's like, you really should give it a try.
Speaking of cruise ships, did you see this thing where Carnival has released all these new rules for their ships?
I saw it, but I did not pay attention to it because I do not go on Carnival.
I guess there's about a lot of issues. It's like after a certain amount of time, if you're underage of such and stuff, there's a curfew.
Yeah.
You can no longer bring Bluetooth speakers out on the decks. You can't save seats. It was just like a whole laundry list of, it looks like they've had a problem with a lot of people being real jerks to other people.
Oh yeah. Constantly. People are constantly doing that on these, the booze cruises, I call them. Yeah. They're a problem with that. And actually a lot of the cruise ships are breaking down on these lounge savers where people go at 7 a.m, throw their stuff on lounges by the pool, and then disappear, and then show back up later around 11 o'clock and expect their stuff to be there. And the cruises are like, we mark it 30 minutes. You can go pick your stuff up at Lost and Found. And I'm good with that.
Is it really that hard to find a seat?
When there's 200, 300 seats and there's 2,000 people, yeah.
Well, it sounds like they should have more seats.
It's a boat. Where are they going to put them?
It's a big boat.
They are spread out. Yeah, right. In your cabins. You are absolutely right. I know I'll never get you on a cruise ship. That's fine. You can do Bonacourse. He just concluded his Bonacore at Sea day. I saw that where they were.
He's been going on a lot. I think he's on the BGG cruise right now, like Norway or something like that.
No, I think the BGG is from LA to Mexico. I think this is his own special one that he does.
Oh, but I'm saying right now, he's done his special one, but he just did the one. He's like, he does his own, he goes on everybody else's. Like, do you ever stay home?
Obviously not. Must be nice. I'm out of vacation. Retiree, woo. Boy, this is riveting. I'm off stride. Can we we should just,
Vanessa,
by the way,
get a little
where's Vanessa?
We need inspiration in here. It's kind of dry conversation right now.
Well, it's rough. I mean, it's just one of those things. We go on vacation, not a whole lot's happening. We don't have a lot of things going on. It's the summer, hence hot fun in the summertime. Is it? It's just hot, and there's not a lot of fun.
Okay, so hot fun in the summertime. You picked that because
Sly passed away, of course.
Yep. It's like it's the kiss of death if we have your song on there, because it means Vanessa has just stepped into the room. We're just sitting there staring at each other. We're not having riveting conversations. We need some sort of stimuli or something like that.
So I don't know if you've ever told the listeners before, but I always say, I'm just going to say one word and y'all go from there. Oreos. In the apartment, eating a whole package of Oreos. Like when y'all lived in the apartment, how many years ago? Over 35 years ago. You did podcasts then. Y'all sat and talked about issues of the day and recorded it and ate Oreos.
And who did we give this to?
Me.
That's right. Do you remember doing that?
No.
Having a video camera set up, and we talked about stuff, and then I sent the tape to Vanessa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Y'all did it more than once.
Do you have the tape somewhere? This will be hilarious.
I don't think we do.
Thank you.
If we do, they've probably been ruined. It was a VHS tape.
Oh my God.
I can't believe Tony doesn't remember that.
He's like, he does not.
I tell you that, like, I feel like I've said it frequently because so y'all did like podcast a long time ago before it.
Well, it was a podcast.
Y'all were destined to do this. So back to the new Oreos. What is the flavor?
What's the Selena Gomez flavor?
Chocolate and cinnamon.
Chocolate and cinnamon.
Oh, I would try that. I
Okay.
like both of those.
Okay. They're in your local Walmarts.
They're in the local Walmarts. Oh, speaking of Walmart. No, is it Walmart or Food Lion that you found the ice cream sandwiches that we've been hunting?
Food Lion.
And what was the ice cream sandwich that, come a little bit closer. What was the ice cream sandwich that we got that was absolutely amazing?
It is an M&M sugar cookie with peanut butter ice cream.
Okay.
And
We've
All right.
been hunting for them for a couple months now.
And it was good.
So
better than
M&M peanut butter ice cream sandwich.
much better than the Pop-Tart crap we had.
We tried the Pop-Tart one. The strawberry Pop-Tart.
Yes, from Bluebell.
Yeah.
No, that was the official Pop-Tart one.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
talking
It was
about
the
ice
official.
cream. I'm
No,
talking about
we
ice
tried
cream.
the official strawberry Pop-Tart ice cream sandwich.
Oh,
We tried
yes,
that
I have
one
not
game
tried
night.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Bluebell has a strawberry Pop-Tart ice cream.
Ooh.
Oh, and here's this. So on the last episode, we did the Goo Goo Cluster cheer wine. So I took a box to our game group. Tony, what do you think about the Goo Goo Cluster cheer wine?
I think it's still in a wrapper waiting for me to try it.
So I really liked it, but I think the cheer wine is faint.
That's what Bert tried it and said the same thing. He wasn't getting a lot of cheer wine.
Yeah.
This is riveting conversation too.
Well, it's taking 3 of us.
It's taking 3 of us for this conversation.
Now, something thinking of back then.
Do I just need to give you a microphone and bring in some headphones so you can talk?
So it was your gaming has evolved.
Uh-huh.
Because back then, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can pull it out of my memory. The game y'all would play on Tony. Tony had a PC. What was that game?
Bubble Bobble?
Maybe it was Bubble Bobble, but y'all would also play a video game.
Oh, we've talked about
Dark.
Bubble Bobble many, many times.
So everything has just evolved through the years.
It was the Dark House, Dark Crystal House.
Yep, but we played together. We
Yes.
didn't play Dark Castle together.
Dark Castle. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Very good then. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to search the memory banks and I'm going to pull it out my butt. She did much better out of her hind end.
He does not
memory.
remember videoing at all.
Yeah. Marty set up the camcorder.
I would
I am-
love to see those again.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad I never sent one to
So
Donna.
this would have been 1986 until
Oh no! This was in the apartment. This was this was early 90s.
Yeah, 1990.
Yeah, so it'd been 90, 91, something like that.
Sure it wasn't Brian?
No, it was us.
Oh no!
yeah,
It was not Brian. It was Tony. And so Marty talks about it because y'all would eat a whole package of Oreos as y'all sat there.
Okay.
We should do that now. We should bring in a package of Oreos and eat a whole package during one episode of a podcast.
Yeah, and people can hear us
All the
crunch.
different flavors of all the different flavors of Oreos.
That might be as riveting as what continues now.
He says that might be as riveting as what continues now. All right. Well, thank you for interjecting. I appreciate that. So, memories. I would still wish we could find that. That would be an amazing thing to find.
No, it would not. It would be blackmailish.
We were creating content for just one person, audience of one. Hey, it's kind of like what we do now.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. And could you imagine if back then we'd have to ship out VHS tapes to everybody? We could be, send them to Blockbuster.
Early podcasts, we'd have to send out cassette tapes to everybody.
Yeah.
It's funny. Somebody posted a picture online the other day of. Do you remember? Were you living in the age when this was the best tape that you could get, and it's like a pack of 3 of the orange and white label, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I had a whole ton of those type of cassettes. But then it was like, when I got a job and I could afford the TDK. Was it the TDK cassette?
TDK.
Because like high end, baby. I was like, ooh, I got the nice cassette now.
Yeah. Well, you don't get the 120 minutes. You get the 60 because the 120 is degraded.
That's right.
They made it too thin.
Knock out the tabs so you can't accidentally record over it.
Oh, the good old days. People are recording on them again. I don't understand.
Isn't that crazy? So I went to a used record store.
Mm-hmm.
There was a wall of cassettes, but it was a ton of CDs. Like a lot of people are buying CDs. And I asked the person, I said, the owner of the store, I said, is there a resurgence in the secondary market for CDs? And he went, yep. I said,
why?
I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know what that gives you nostalgia-wise. I get an album, right? The idea of putting an album on and letting it play. With the CD, we could skip and revert. I mean, I just don't get the whole idea of a CD coming back. Now, people buying cassettes, I don't understand that one at all.
It's nostalgia stuff. But you mentioned that you were in when we were, I hate to do this, when we were walking through the streets of Paris, it was like there were tons of retro stores.
Mm.
And as I'm walking by, I'm seeing, you think of Paris, you think of fashion, stuff like that. The 80s have come alive. It was unreal. I was like, oh my goodness. In the retro stores, I'm like, I had something like, you going to charge that many euros for that crap? Oh my heavens. So, wow, unreal. All right. Did you play any games while I was gone? We've killed enough time here.
I did. There is a game that I want to tell you about that you did not get to play while you were gone. And that is a game from the publishers, the City of Games. It's called Emberleaf. This is from designers James Tomlin and Frank West. I love it when I get to do like little reviews with you because since you're my audience, it gives direct feedback of whether what I'm saying makes any sense at all. Okay. So this is a card-driven game where basically each player has starting out with a hand of cards they're going to use to play to take actions. The board is made up of section of clearings. By the way, this is animal-based. There's a bunch of little anthropomorphic animals that you're using to play with. There's squirrels and there's animals, right? So anyway, so there's a map and there's clearings on the map. Each clearing is made up of hex spaces. And there's a trail between the different clearings that you as the player can go. So all of you have a token that you're going to start with at one of the clearings. And from there, the goal is to build buildings and try to connect as many of your buildings as you can to get victory points. There's some goal cards called favor. They're favor cards, but they're actually kind of a way of, hey, if you complete this by the end of the game, you're going to get victory points sort of deal. So it's a victory point driven game. So that's the main board. Pretty straightforward. What's interesting is your player board. Your player board has 4 spots for you to play your cards. So on your turn, you take a card and you put it in one of those 4 spots. But that's not the only thing on your player board. Your player board also has hex tiles of buildings that you can build. There's a generic pool of buildings that you can build, and there's different types of buildings that you can make, etc. But on your board, there's one of each of the types of buildings that you can make. And by building those buildings, unlock something on your board. 2 of them are, if you build 2 of the buildings, it unlocks 2 additional card slots on your board to go from 4 cards to play on your board to 6 cards. At the top of the board, there's also a row of animals, like a row of squirrels and a row of different animals. And whenever you build a building, you take one of those animals off your board and you put it on your building to denote, that's my building. And when you do that, it gives you a little bonus. Underneath the animal is a little bonus that you would get at that time. Okay, so on your turn, you're going to take a card from your hand and you're going to play it. Okay, so when you play a card, most of them are going to give you different actions. For example, one is walk, get from one clearing to another. One is gather. Gather this number of resources based on, it could be wood, could be food, etc. The card will say gather X amount of resources. And when you gather resources, there's a little storage section on your board for storing resources. And guess what? If you build one of the buildings that covers some of those storage areas, it gives you more storage that you can build. You want to use those resources to build. One of the actions on the card is build. Turn in the number of resources required for a certain building. Take that, put it into one of the open spots in the clearing that you're next to. Take one of your animals, put it on top of it. You're going to score points for every unique building in a chain that you have that has one of your meeples on it. There is also attacking. Now, when I first heard about attack, I was thinking, oh, we're going to get to attack each other or buildings. That's not the case. What it is there's these little things called danger tiles between the clearings that have a health value on it, and you must deal enough damage to remove that tile, but that tile also gives you victory points. Now, what's interesting is that tile doesn't block you from moving. It's just usually it costs 1 movement point to get from one spot to another. If there's a danger tile there, it costs you an extra movement point, which is part of the interesting things, a skill check. When I play a card to move, up in the upper left hand of the card, maybe a little footprint, a little move icon. Every other card I've played on my board that also has the movement icon adds to the number of movement I have. So I count up all the ones on my player board. That's how much movement I got. The same thing for attacks. I count up all the little swords on the card that I played, plus all the swords that's on my board right now, whether it be from cards played or a building that was removed to give me a bonus. And that's the amount of attack that I have to destroy those tokens, which is a way to generate victory points. So I play a card, you play a card, Bert plays a card, Mark plays a card, and we just keep going round and round. Now I'm going to pause at this point. Does all that make sense?
More or less. Yeah. I mean, you know me, I've got to see a little bit of this in order to completely grasp it.
Now, you as a gamer, I have a hand of cards and I can play those cards. Now, you as a gamer is probably going to get to a point and think, there's a question I'm expecting you to ask me.
Okay. And that is, was it any fun?
No. I'm still talking about the mechanics of the game. I'm playing cards from my hand to my player board. There's a logical question that a gamer would ask at this point.
It's not coming to me. This is almost as bad as Donna asking me the mini crosses in New York Times. I don't know. What is that?
How do I get the cards back into my hand?
I figured you just draw them.
No. Why would you think?
Well, you know.
No. You have a hand of cards. There is no deck. You literally just have a hand of cards. From that hand, you can play any card that you want.
Right.
You play it onto the board. To get the cards back into your hand, instead of playing a card, you take a slide action. This is the unique part of the game. All the cards on the board will slide 1 slot to the left. These are multi-use cards where some of the cards on the bottom will say, hey, if you slide, you get to do this. It could be build. It could be produce. It could be do an attack or something. But every card activates when it slides. When it gets to the left side of the board, the edge of the board, and it slides off the board, sometimes there are actions called fall off, or when it goes off the board, you get to activate that. There's a particular action for just falling off the board. When it falls off the board, it goes right back into your hand.
Okay.
So that's how you refill. So the idea is, I want to play this card, then this card, slide, which will activate these 2 cards, which will do a nice little combo. So there is a little bit of an engine building in this game.
Okay. All right. Very good. And did you find that complicated during the game to be able to manage that?
No, it was a piece of cake because literally it's play a card or you're going to slide. Now, there's also some free actions that you can do. One of them is you can promise a favor. There are these favor cards that this is how you generate points. Like I'm going to get one that says, oh, if I have a market in just 3 different clearings, I'm going to earn these victory points.
Okay.
Later on, I grabbed another one that said, oh, by the way, if you have one of your mouse meeples on 3 different markets, you're going to earn victory points. So I combined those 2 together. Sweet little combo there. So you can grab these cards in order to basically try to fulfill the goals. And there's no penalty. If you don't fulfill it, there's no penalty at the end if you don't do it. There's also a market of cards you can buy to add to your hand. There are certain times when you uncover certain bonuses on your game board. It'll allow you to take a new card from the market into your hand, thus modifying your engine a little bit. It's just the thing is, though, you don't get that many cards to add to your hand during the course of the game. And you're only going to get a limited number of favor cards because you can only get a favor card at each individual clearing.
Okay.
Every clearing is going to have one of your tokens. You can spend that token to claim one of those cards. So you just can't soak them all up.
Okay.
Well, that's the crux of the game. The thing is, though, is what drives the end of the game. Whenever you attack something and destroy one of those little danger tiles, you get to move down on the war banner track. It's a little token that moves down a row. And on that row, you have a couple options of bonuses. Could be get some additional resources and stuff. When you get to the bottom of that track, depending on the number of players or how many rows it is, you claim a trophy. One of 6 trophies. And this trophy could be a immediate victory points or something that you get. And then the other half of the card is something everybody else gets. Everybody else gets a little bit of a bonus. The game ends when all 6 trophies are gone.
Okay.
So to move down this track, you're constantly having to attack in order to move this marker down to try to clear the trophies.
So let's go back to my original question then. Was it fun?
The card play of this game was a lot of fun. Here's the issue that we had with it. Early on in the game, the momentum was so slow. You play a card, you play a card, you play a card. In initial, we're all just playing cards and not even sliding yet. Because we're trying to get enough cards on the board to make it make sense to slide. So it just took a while to get anything going. Now, once you started building stuff off your board, unlocking additional storage spots, unlocking additional spots to play your cards, getting new character cards into your hand, then towards the end, that momentum started to really chug, right? Then it was like, hey, I'm going to slide this card, which allows me to do this, 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 which is cool, which is a rewarding experience. But also, because there's no player interaction, you're just watching somebody else do their stuff. So it is very much a solitaire game.
Okay.
We wish the momentum would pick up. Now, there is another way to get trophies. Towards the end of the game, as you fill up a clearing, as a clearing has a building token in every spot, the person to place that last token gets a trophy. So that also speeds up the game. You went from slowly anybody getting a trophy to they're being claimed pretty quick because the board is filled up quick. So Here's the thing. I think the card play was brilliant. I love the idea of kind of Concordia. I can play any card I want anytime I want. I put that onto my board. The sliding thing is really cool. When I slide, I get to activate stuff like that. I just wish the game didn't take 2 hours. Yes, it takes 90 to 120 minutes. And even with just 3 players, we're pushing 90 to 120 minutes. And I even mentioned this on social media. I wish there was a game that had this card play mechanic that knocked 30 minutes off the length of the game, and I would like it a lot more.
Okay. Well, it stayed on the table a little too long for you, huh?
It stayed on too long table for everybody.
Gotcha.
It was just called because by the end, the combos were so sweet, the turn started to drag. Because when somebody does something, they're activating a ton of stuff. And again, it's not affecting you at all, so you're not really engaged.
Gotcha.
You can't knock out somebody else off a building. You can't take their building. The attack is really for these little tokens, and those tokens get replenished every time. So there's always some sort of token to attack. After a trophy's taken, they get refreshed sort of deal. I think it's a really clever card game. I hope a version of a game comes out that uses the exact same mechanic, but knocks 30 to 45 minutes off the game time.
Okay. Well, I hate I missed it somewhat, maybe. But for 2 hours, though, man, that's yeah, and I know me.
Oh, yeah. We were making comments about you. We're going, Tony would be livid. He would be just walking around the table because that'd be an extra player. And the extra player, it's the same amount of time for the number of players. With only 3 players, you pre-populate the board with a few buildings. With 4 players, you pre-populate with nothing. So it's not like the time decreases for less players. So we kind of feel this 4 players is still going to be that long too. I'm going to say this because I'm very consistent, okay? This is very subjective, and this has no bearing on whether you are like or dislike a game. It's another game with anthropomorphic animals on it. The cover is literally just Emberleaf, and it's white. It's like there's no eye appeal. There's no way I'd walk by that box and pick it up. And what I don't understand is the publisher is not on the cover, nor is the designer. To me, those are now drawing points. Frank West did Isle of Cats, which was a huge game for this company that published that game. To me, that's a selling point. That's almost like you put Stonemaier on the front of a Stonemaier Games box, right?
Right.
This is a Stonemaier game. Oh, they make good stuff. I feel that they should have done the same thing here. It's just a plain white box with a few animals on it that say Emberleaf. And again, this probably comes back to Everdell, Root, or whatever. There's just this craze of this type of art style and stuff to where it's getting so samey, kind of like the zombie thing was, or kind of like 20 years ago when everything was just about trading ships in the Mediterranean. And you got tired of that stuff too. It's just a phase that's overplayed itself for me. And if this was something that looked like real people, I would have been more engaged. All subjective. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. And we're going to talk about another one that's got animals in it in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to say I understand. People are people. Draw the people. Be done with it. Don't worry about it. Let's go.
Here's the thing. People love the cute animals right now. It's a selling point. It works. It's going to keep happening until it just doesn't work anymore. That's what the market wants.
Go for it.
I'm just kind of over it. That's all. So anyway, Emberleaf, if you like this designer, probably go check it out. Just know it's probably going to stay on the table for a while, but the gameplay is seriously engaging. All right, so we got a few other games we're going to talk about. Let's get over and talk about those.
Do you subscribe to Portal on YouTube? If you do, then you would have seen Ignacy do a little unboxing of Age of Galaxy.
Can't wait.
Yep, looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Well, it looks good. I hope it makes it to Gen Con. He's like, I don't know, it's like a 50-50 chance of it getting to Gen Con. I want to be playing at Gen Con, Ignacy. I want to unload some Age of Galaxy boxes there.
Here you go. Or you're going to bring a hammer. I haven't watched the hammer one yet, where he's got a hammer in the... Anyway, digress. ShopPortalGames.com. Head over there right now if you're not making it yet. Age of Galaxy pre-order, $32. You'll save 19% off of the retail of $39.95. And if you pre-order, you'll get 5 faction cards. Age of Galaxy is a strategic 4x game that places you in control of an interstellar alliance. I mean, the way he's been selling this 45 to 60 minute 4x game, what do you think, Marty? You think he's going to be able to pull that off?
You know, we've played a lot of these short 4X games that don't feel 4X, but I trust Ignacy. I think he's going to give us exactly what we're looking for because you kind of get that somewhat anyway with some of his other card-driven games, so I can't wait to try this one out.
Also, be sure to check out Bohemians. You can sign up for their newsletter over at shopportalgames.com. Marty talked about box cover art. Beautiful looking box cover here. It's one of those that you're going like, ooh, what's this one about? Definitely pick that one up and take a look at it. The prototype won 3 nominations over there at the largest convention for board games. I didn't make it to Denmark. I wish I had known about that. I would have adjusted my vacation to go see that convention. That's interesting. See what you learn when you go read his website over at shopportalgames.com. All right, we got us another game to the board gaming table at Qdoba's. This is called Barony Royal Edition 2025. This is the remake of Barony, designed by Marc Andre, publisher Grail Games.
Now, we're a fan of Grail Games.
Yeah, they hit all cylinders right here. Just saying.
Okay, let me just say this right off the bat. I had a little rant in the intro about box cover art that just didn't appeal to me. The reason we're playing this game and telling you about it is strictly based off the box cover art. The art on the spot is absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Stunning. In fact, who is the artist? Whoever it is, I don't know. I want to try to give you credit because credit where credit is due. Illustrations are by Bastien Zez, Samuel Bouvant, and Ishmael. I'm not sure who's responsible for the cover. Go look at the cover, y'all. It is absolutely gorgeous. I literally reached out to Grail Games and said, I don't know anything about this game, but I think this is great and we'd love to cover it.
Mm-hmm. Which is, hey, you took a flyer, right? You took a flyer.
Yep. Based on art alone. Art will make you pick up a box and look at it.
And actually, as you say that, I'm looking at some of the, when this releases, Amazon Prime deal has just happened, and there's a whole bunch of feeds about what games you need to be getting in your thing. I'm with you. I mean, if it's not going to grab my attention, when they're showing the list, I know a lot of them, I'm not even going to bother looking at it. And then I find myself looking at the board itself. For this game, if I were to look at the board, I would be very disappointed because there isn't one.
That's true. That's true. There's not.
There's not a board. It's a bunch of tiles that you put together and try to make it as square as possible. I love that in the setup. Make it as square as possible.
That's what they say for the very first game. If you want to get bizarre, you could. But what I love about this is basically these are tiles, small tiles that are made up of hex spaces, and there's different types of terrain. So you're going to randomly put these out, meaning every time you play this game, the shape of the map and the types of terrain that are out and how they're distributed across the map is going to be different.
One thing I do want to say before, because in this Barony Royal Edition, this included sorcery and, just left me the powers, the various powers for the people, for the hero cards. Heroes. Right. So Barony Royal Edition combined that, and you have the heroes and the sorcery. We played with the heroes. We did not play with the sorcery, so I'm looking forward to playing this game again on the table. And is this a game you think we'll play again, Marty?
I don't know if that's a segue or a setup. So this is rare, y'all. In one game night, I just want to say, this game plays 2 to 5 players, 60 minutes. We didn't play not once, not twice, but 3 times in a game night. We played 3-player, 4-player, then 4-player with the Heroes expansion, and every single game was under 60 minutes. I think one of them was like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And we got out of Qdoba's before it was closing time. That should tell y'all something. We started boom, boom, boom. We were firing on all cylinders, 6 to 9 o'clock, and we played one before Mark got there. So 2 with Mark, with 4 players, and, 1 with 3. So, and the rules explanation, straightforward. I mean, if you want to just quickly go over them, I mean, the gameplay of this, it was simple. There are certain things that I will say this before you jump into this was conditions of when you can move into certain terrain. That's the tricky part that you need to demonstrate, I would think, to people. What do you think?
I know, I totally agree. That's the part you got to learn and keep straight. I guess people's like, what type of game is this, Marty? This is an area majority influence style game. So it's an area control-ish type game, but you're earning victory points upon how well you do. So in the end, yes, the person with the most victory points wins, but the way that you're going to earn your victory points is based upon how well you play in this kind of head-to-head heavy player interaction. Tony, I said this the other night. I must be in a new phase of my gaming to where the idea of playing a game of getting resources and trading in resources with victory points doesn't thrill me anymore. But something like Cyclades that we've covered, and Huang, and Rumble Nation, and now Barony, I love it. It's just very memorable to me. And typically, out of all these games, the rules are super straightforward. What's interesting is the strategy and tactics you have to use in this game.
So on my side, short thing, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the game and how much strategy. I did think near the end of the game, it started to drag a little bit for me, but that's just who I am. I'm kind of one of those people who are like, okay, we're near the end. I can see it. Get here.
Even in 45 minutes?
Yes. I was like, okay, make a freaking decision. Let's go. Because I knew what I wanted to do. Even though, so the beauty of the game for me was you had to think ahead. You had to think multiple steps ahead, but it wasn't to the point where you were going to be completely laboring over these decisions. You had a plan, and this game was such that even though there's heavy interaction, you really didn't mess me up too much. You may slightly adjust my plans, but you didn't completely compromise my plans like some of these games do, right?
Right.
So the gameplay. On your turn, you've got various actions you can take. First off, the key sources or the key components of the game are you have knights. They're out there ravaging the villages, going out there, destroying the land. They're being knights. There's strongholds.
They're actually constructing buildings and building new cities.
Yeah, but when they go in and they ravage somebody else's village, they decimate it. They raze it to the ground. I was flicking pieces at people that night. What are you talking about?
That's true. We were flicking pieces. Yeah, so on your turn, you can do one and only one of 6 actions, which means turns are extremely fluid. One of them very simple. As Tony mentioned, one of the main pieces are your knights. These little horses, those like chess pieces, you can recruit. You can take up to 2 of your knights and put them in a place where you have a city. At the beginning of the game, we're going to get to put out 3 of our city tokens out on the board, and that's where you're going to add new knights to the game. But over the course of the game, you can construct new cities to have knights put in there. And here's one of those little rules, Tony, that you have to remember. It's always 2 unless your city is beside water, and if it's beside water, you can add 3. So that's one of those little caveats you have to remember.
That's right. There's a tart in that lake, and she allows for 3.
Tossing swords.
So you're recruiting the knights in the cities. Key point. You start with 3, but you only have 2 left to put on the board. A knight can also do construction. Like you said, he can replace a village. A knight can be used as a piece to put in a village or a stronghold.
And that knight actually comes off the board back to your supply. So you replace the knight with a village or the stronghold. To even get to the point, one of the other actions you can take is just move. You can move 1 or 2 of your knights to adjacent spaces. You can't move the same knight twice. That's it. 1 or 2 adjacent spaces. What I really like is that means nobody can just rush across the map. I can see if Tony's kind of moving in towards me, it gives me time to plan, thinking he must be going to be coming over here, possibly to take over something. Now, as Tony mentioned at the beginning of this discussion, this is where you have to realize where you can go and where you can't. For example, lake space, you can never move into a lake space. You can never move into a mountain space with somebody else's opponent. If there are 2 of something in a tile that's the same color, same player's color, you can't move into there, nor can you move into somebody's city or a stronghold. And I know that's a lot, and even as you're playing the game, Tony, that's what we had to kind of do is like, okay, where can I go and where can't I go? But after 3 games, I think we pretty much had it nailed down to where we weren't even looking at the player reference anymore. Right.
And it's also beautifully written on page 3 of the rule book of the various defenses of the various things. Because I kept asking, if I have a stronghold in this, can anybody? No, nobody can move in there. I mean, you and I can occupy the same space, but if there's ever 2 of me, you can't come in there.
Right.
If I'm there, you're there. Come on, someone else can join us, as long as there's never 2 of the same color. And that was a good rule for us to remember.
But what's cool is, let's say there is one of your pieces and one of my pieces. Let's say it's a village. My village, your knight. If you move a second knight into that tile, which you can do because there's not 2 of my same color there, a conflict immediately happens. Because you have 2 of something and I only have 1, you remove my 1 thing. It could have been a knight or village. A knight just gets removed from the game, but if it's a village, you get to steal one of my resource tokens, because when you build a village, you get a resource token of that type of whatever the tile is. The different resource tokens have different point values that can be used in-game, which we'll talk about in a second, or end-game victory points. Going into conflict with somebody is good, especially if you take away their village. Okay, you're right. We do raise the village. We don't take it over. We do raise their village, and we steal from them basically a token, resource token that they can use then in a sometimes future turn.
Which is the crux of this game. This is the game right here. Is the challenge of being able to go in and steal the victory points to take away when somebody's getting ready, wanting to turn those victory points in to go up on the victory point chart. You know, you go in, you keep them from doing that. You have to think about, are they close enough to do that? Because I know we've said this, but I'm going to reemphasize. You get to do 1 of these actions on your turn. You get to do the movement. You get to do the recruitment. You get to construct. You get to develop a whole new city. All that is done. You get to pick 1 of them. So you have to plan these out and build up a defense so that you can protect those precious victory points. Or...
and they are precious.
They are precious. Or figure out a way to hoard them so that you won't feel so bad when you lose them. By the way, turning in the victory points, they call it the noble title. When you turn them in, if you turn in 15, you move up on the victory point in the noble titles, which is the game. And we'll talk about the end game and how you get there, and also with the construction of a city. Expedition was one of those things that is, if you want to, you know how you can recruit knights to a city? If you want to, somebody can fall on their sword, one of your knights, get eliminated from the game. He's back in the box, and one of your knights can show up where he is allowed on a space on the edge of the board. Basically, he's teleporting across the board. Why is this important? We were sitting there saying, I don't understand why this could be so important. But we later found out that by able to move into certain parts of the board, like the mountains, this began to block people.
Mm-hmm.
So it became another piece that can constrict the way people are moving.
And once you're on that side of a board, several of us did this. You use the expedition to jump to the other side of the board. The last action you can do, you mentioned, was build a new city. You can convert that knight into a village. That takes one turn. Mm-hmm. But if that village hangs around, by the time it comes back to you, you can replace the village with a city. Now when you recruit, you can recruit from that area. And so you talked about the nobles. So everybody starts out on the victory point track as a Viscount. And when you turn in 15 points, you move up to a Count. Basically, your victory point total goes up by 15. And it goes up to another victory point track, the Count. And then it goes to the Marquis, then the Duke, then the Baron, which is what triggers the end of the game. As soon as somebody reaches the title of Baron, you're going to finish the round. Everybody gets the equal number of turns. Whoever has the most points wins. The other way to get victory points is building cities. When you build a city, you add 10 points to your victory point total, and there's 2 more additional cities that you can build.
Everybody gets equal number of turns. Whoever has the most points wins. If you have additional victory point tokens, you add those up.
Now, you did mention at the end of the game you felt it dragged. What happens is the more that we played this game, we've talked about, we used this term before, it's like crabs trying to crawl out of a bucket. As soon as somebody's close to victory, somebody's going to go in, knock out one of their villages, steal one of their victory points to try to keep them from turning in that final 15. It's just whoever can strategically play really well. Bert did a really good job of this in that last game that we played. He had several of his knights out there that could be converted to villages. And by the way, when you convert, you can do all of them. That's another thing you got to plan too, Tony. You don't want to just convert one guy or one. You want to get a lot of knights out there and convert them all at once and get a whole slew of victory point tokens in that you can then use in order to move up the track. He had actually got enough points to protect himself in case we stole from him. None of us were close enough to him to steal enough to keep him from getting that last 15 points. But you're right. All of us are like, hey, Mark's getting ready to win. Stop him. Hey, somebody needs to keep an eye on Tony. Nobody's even keeping an eye on Marty. It's because Marty sucks. He don't know what he's doing. You know, that's typically true. So yeah, that's where this game kind of fell. Now, the last game we did do the Heroes expansion, which everybody was dealt 2 cards, and it was a special kind of one-time use that you got to use during the game to kind of break the rules once on your turn. For example, one of mine was, instead of turning in 15 points worth to move up on the rankings, I only had to turn in 12. But it was just a one-time thing.
I enjoyed the Heroes. I would definitely play with those again. I would not leave them out because I didn't feel like they were a major break to the game. They added a little, because that was part of the strategy. Oh, which hero? Because there's duplicates of it. You know, the hero card, you and I both had the same one of, 12 points gives you a nobility increase versus the 15 you normally have to turn in. And, that could be an in-game scoring, but I never felt like these are things that were going to break the game. I was so glad to find out now, that would have been different if they had stuck around the whole game. I like turning the heroes in at the end. Didn't even read the rules on sorcery because I knew we weren't even going to play it, so it'd be interesting to see how that is. I mean, my final thoughts on this game is that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the strategy. As you said, as I stated, the end game seemed to drag a little bit because we started trying to gang up and trying to keep people, so it can be a problem. But eventually you get too spread out. One of the things we always ran into was I didn't have all my knights in a good position. I was either using them to protect when I really needed them to go defeat somebody, and that's pretty much how the game ended. I got too spread out. I wasn't able to defend areas. So enjoyed the game, enjoyed the thinking of it. I enjoyed the quickness of it. I liked the fact that there wasn't a lot of AP going on in between during turns. Occasionally there was a little bump in the road, but nothing major. So yeah, enjoyed this one a whole lot. And once again, the wood pieces, appreciated that. Didn't need no plastic pieces. All that was beautiful. The board's beautiful. The artwork's great.
Yeah, and so for me, I'm in the same boat. I think this is going to go right up on the shelf with some of these other games that we played. Cyclades, which is kind of the longer game. You've got Hwang, which is a longer game than this. You've got Rumble Nation, which is super short. To me, this falls in between, as far as like length and playtime and stuff, is between Hwang that we covered and Rumble Nation. I think the only thing is you got the little bit of a learning curve of knowing who can move when and where and resolving conflicts. That's really the only thing. Once you get over that hump, it's very intuitive. Again, I would love the cover art as a print. It just looks that good. I actually want to take this game and turn it forward on my shelf so you can see that gorgeous cover. Yeah, so Barony Royal Edition from Grell Games. I tell y'all, I'm just in the mood for these type of player interaction games that aren't overly complicated, and this totally fits the bill. Did you miss the Game Toppers 5.0 Kickstarter? You mean you missed the one that had like 20 stretch goals that were unlocked? The one that brought the shipping costs down worldwide? The one that brought down the price of the already high quality toppers? Well, guess what? The Late Pledge Manager is going to be opening just before Gen Con. So if you missed that 5.0 Kickstarter with all those savings, plus the brand new items like the high fantasy luxuriant engraved oak and the Viking table and the brand new mats from new artists, you're going to have a chance to late back at their Kickstarter when the late pledge opens just before Gen Con. Again, go check out those cheap shipping prices and drop prices on the regular products. Keep an eye out over at GameToppersLLC.com.
Five-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Positano from Slugfest Games and designer Jeff Grisenthwaite. You and your friends are builders in Positano, Italy, a village stacked upon a cliffside overlooking the clear blue sea. Each round, you will bid on 3 simultaneous auctions determining the size, quantity, and location of your new resort for the whole goal of making sure that your building can see over the other buildings and see the ocean, because you're going to get points for every floor that you can see from your own personal building. Now, Tony, I will say, the presence of this game is really nice because everybody has little building blocks that you're going to build on a tiered play surface.
Right. And where you place those is based on those bids, because one of them, the first bid is, hey, I've just gotten the ability to bid in a certain row and column based on the board that you had to set up and where you're placing it. So if you want a certain row, you better bid well on that. The number of blocks you have in your inventory is also something that you're bidding on that single card that you're being placed out, or the double cards you're placing out. And the third one is the build action. There may be some special build actions you get. So when Marty says a single bid action, you're bidding for 3 things. This is what it's wild. This was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, so I agree. So you each have a deck of cards. You've got your bid cards that have 3 different numbers on them that represent each of the 3 auctions that's going to occur each round. And then you got a modifier card, which will add a fixed number to each of those 3 bids. And everybody has the same cards, by the way, where maybe the first number that is the where you're going to get to place your building is a low number, but the number of blocks you get is a high number. So you have to decide, what do you want to try to win that round? The placement of your block, or maybe you're getting low on blocks in your supply, or, ooh, there's a cool bonus by I can extend the size of one of my buildings by +2, which will help me out in the long run. So the bidding, like with you, Tony, was the best part of the game, especially adding that modifier card, because it's like I can add this modifier with this almost to guarantee I'll get that one spot that I want.
You've got 7 cards here, but you're going to only go 5 rounds. So some of these won't be used. So it's important to say, okay, how do I want this to go as we are trying to build this so that my buildings can see over it, over everybody else, And another thing I liked about the bidding mechanic is all of our build decks, even though they were the same numbers, there were ways to break ties, and those were indicated on the base bid cards. And that was just pretty, because we sat there and we're going, oh, how do we break the ties when this occurs? Oh, it won't occur. Well, it did. Oh, look at the little dots. Wow. Somebody was really thinking here. That was a thinky thing.
And so if you can imagine, we had to put together this little, basically steps. There's 4 rows and an ascending height, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first step will be a block of size 1, height. The second has 2 high, 3 high, then 4 high. But those rules can be broken with those build cards. It might say, hey, you can make the building that you're getting ready to place 1 block higher. And the maximum size of any building is just the max size of whatever row it's on plus 2. And again, why are you trying to do this? You're trying to make sure that at the end of the game, the blocks that are facing the front of the board, if they can visibly be seen, they're going to award you points. So that means, Tony, as we're building, we can actually make a tall building that covers up somebody's building that's behind them and block their points.
That's right. You just broke the regulations of Positano. I'm telling you, there's going to be a hit placed on you if you block my building. But one of the things, a building is only so good as the type of roof you put on it. These build blocks, they come in bronze, silver, and gold, cheap, standard, and luxury. You got a luxury building. These are the modifiers to the blocks that can see to the ocean. So, for example, I have a luxury gold roof. Every block underneath that roof that can see the ocean is worth 3 points. So placement is key here. So that's one of the things you need to make sure. And that's also part of the bidding. So these build blocks, that will give you these breaking the rules as well as determine what your roof is. So you need to be paying attention to this.
Yeah, because when you place a building, you immediately cap it with whatever build tile that you drafted. There's another way to get points. Some of these tiles that you draft have little ice cream cones on them. At the very end of the game, you're going to get 1 point for every little ice cream cone that you drafted.
We're in Italy. Let's call it gelato.
Let's call it gelato because that's exactly what it is. So, Tony, simple rules. I love bidding games. Simultaneous bidding means it plays fast. This was a good game. It's a 3D puzzle. I wasn't sure whether you're going to like it because you typically don't like spatial 3D type things, but you seem to dig it.
Oh, no, I liked it. The bidding is what won me over. Easy to understand gold cards, which are part of in-game scoring. Quick.
Oh, we didn't mention that. At the beginning of the game, there's these gold cards that come out and says, hey, you're going to get, like, for example, points if you build on the edges or extra points if you build on the top row, etc. And those are variable in every game.
Right. So it has all the little check boxes for me. And actually, it wasn't so much of a visual for me as in, dealing with, oh, does this fit right here or this fit right there? That's where I usually get thrown off. This was pretty straightforward. Can my building see the ocean? And if that card is going to match up, is it going to allow me to do this? So yes, it's one of those games that I'm like, okay, this is easy for me to understand, easy for me to teach. Now, I will admit that I had some problems with the regulations on breaking those when I could break them. So I think that's going to take a little challenge to help people understand that, hey, you can build higher than the regulation, but there's one card that lets you upgrade. You got to walk through that.
Yeah. So the build cards might allow you to add a block to another one of your existing buildings as opposed to the one you just built. So all that's got to be taken in consideration when you place your bids. Like I said, you can only build with the blocks you have in your supply. So once you start running low, you better do a high bid for the row of cards that you'll draft that gives you additional blocks to your supply. And those carry over from round to round.
Great game. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get it on the table with the family, see how they do, because like I said, it plays fast, plays up to 4. Now they do have an expansion for 5 or 6 people. We'll see. We don't have that, but I'm going to see if that's ever, I don't see where that's ever needed. I just think it gets a little chaotic. I think 4 is a good sweet spot.
The only nitpick I had is the platform that you build must be assembled and disassembled every game. And we found that even as we took it to put it together and took it apart multiple times, the cardboard starting to bend on the tabs where you slide. That's kind of a downer for me because the cardboard was starting to rip. So just be careful when you assemble and disassemble to make sure nothing rips. So that is Positano from Slugfest Games, a really solid family game.
5-minute initiative is complete.
We're less than a month from Gen Con. I've been telling y'all, head over to Miniature Market, and those games that you're interested in that you're going to start hearing about is going to show up on pre-order. Sometimes pre-orders sell out, so you want to make sure to join their newsletter so you can stay up to date on these things. Head over to their website. They have a page that you can just search directly for pre-orders, so you'll know exactly when it's time to jump in on something. Like I said, lots of times these pre-orders and hot games will actually sell out, and you have to wait for it to be released for them to get any more in. To find out more, you can head over to miniaturemarket.com or go to our website, rolldicetakenames.com. Click on our affiliate link. That way, they'll know you came from us.
We got us another game coming from Thunderworks Games called Citizens of the Spark. This is designed by Philip Dubarry, best known for Black Orchestra, at least in this house. And, great co-op game. Really enjoyed that game. But this is one of those games, Marty, that you are doing open drafting among friends to do some set collections that at the end of the game, you're going to try to get the most victory points. There you go.
That's incorrect.
What do you mean? There were victory points.
You're trying to get sparks.
Oh, okay.
Citizens of the Spark.
Okay. So these citizens got some spark to them. I like that. Real quick, on your turn, there is going to be 3 rows of cards of citizens. There's citizens that are out there. And these citizens have different capabilities that you design at the beginning of the setup of the game. Now, there's set citizenry that you're building that is suggested on the back of the book, or you can randomly do it, or like the book says. And on your turn, you're going to collect 3 of those citizens, and you are going to put them out in front of you. And citizens that are the same are going to go stack on top of each other. And then at the end of your turn, you have the option to activate a citizen in your
city.
And based on some of the actions on these cards, you may be able to collect some sparks. You may interact with other towns, not in a good way. I'm going to say that.
Typically not, no.
That's not going to happen. Or you may be able to adjust citizens by trading them, making them, there's just a lot of interaction. And Marty, I don't know how many citizens there were. We played this game 3 times. And in each of those games, I think how many did we drop out? Was it 7 or 8? I can't remember how many we had.
It depends on the number of players, of the number of different types of citizens you're going to get. So for 4 players, you're going to get 8 citizens. And there's 30 total, 30 different ones.
So we played with 24 just shy of 24.
Just 20, 20-something last night. So we got to see a bunch of different citizens and how they work in different actions they take. But Tony, the best thing that I like is it's your turn. You've said, I'm going to activate the bandit and do his ability. The person to the left of the person who activated that then has the option, if they have a bandit card in their city, card or cards, they can spend it and activate it for themselves. And it goes around the table. So it has that classic, whoever is the lead player selects an action other people can follow if they want to. So that is one thing I like in most games that has this mechanic. I really like the game.
When you activated that bandit, depending on how many bandits will determine the level of what he can do. And, one of the cards I remember the most is that if I had, I think it was the medic, if I had 3 medics or a level 3 medic, so I have 3 medics sitting on my in my city, I would play the medic at a level 3, and I could take cards off the bottom of the discard pile, and they were more than if I only had 1 medic. After I activate that medic is then discarded. I have now reduced the number of citizens and therefore their level. I enjoyed that mechanic a lot.
Yeah. So then if you want to get that, maximize that medic again, then you hope the next time it comes around to your draft, there is a medic out there for you to draft at that time. But this is where, if you're paying attention to what other players are doing, and we kind of did this too, you may hate draft because somebody may have a good engine. We found that some of these cards synergize really well together. So you're trying to keep that person getting their engine going and draft and keep them from doing, or copy it. You may like what they're doing and try to do it yourself. And our third game, Tony, that you won, and I think you had the highest score in the night, you had a really incredible engine. But what was really cool, we got to take advantage of it too, but you really got to take advantage of it. There was one, it was like count the number of sword icons or something in somebody's city, and you get points based on the number of sword icons.
If you have one level citizen, then for every 2 swords, you get a spark. If you have a level 2 citizen, then for every sword, you get a spark. And if you have a level 3 citizen, you get 2 sparks for every sword. So that's the progression of it. Now, sometimes after you finish your turn, then you refill the row. But Marty, sometimes those rows came up and there were just not good selections. And on my turn, I didn't want that row. I'm going to pass on that row.
You might, because at the end of the turn, the row that is not taken, each row not taken, which is 2 of them, is going to get a spark put beside of it. And when you claim a row, you claim any sparks that are beside it. So eventually, somebody's going to take it. And there's one card called the Outcast, which gives you negative points at the end of the game. There was one row that I'm not taking that Outcast, but eventually there were so many sparks there. It's like, I got to take it. Now, there are other cards in play that might can help you give somebody a card, flip a card face down, discard a card, trade a card. So there are mechanisms to get rid of that Outcast. You just need to find a way to do it.
Or, yeah, like you said, stick somebody with that Outcast. I'll take those 2 Outcasts in that other one because I really like it. But, oh, wait, I've got this one card that's going to allow me to push all that Outcast over to Marty. Oh, so a lot of great interaction, incredible randomness when it comes to putting the number of various citizens together to form the deck. So, overall, the gameplay, the teaching went very quick. Gameplay was fast. Probably the biggest holdups that we had were, do I really want to follow or do I want to, wait? And I felt like that's where we kept pausing sometimes because you were like, man, am I going to get a chance to do this? Because the game ended quickly sometimes. And then it was like, you can't pull any more cards out of here. Boom, it's over. Everybody gets this equal number of turns. You're done. And it was like, man, I just needed one more shot,
The game ends when the deck of cards is empty because at the beginning of the game, everything is shuffled together. You generate your 3x3 row of the market that you're going to draft from. Everybody gets 4 cards and you keep 2 and discard the others. So if there are cards in the game that are like drawing from the deck, and there are, and maybe I take that action and then people follow with the same actions, you're going through that deck really fast.
As far as negatives go, I think all of us at the table were like, why did it have to be animals? And this is subjective, right? I mean, Thunderworks and Role Player, there were humans. Why could we not have some really cool humans here? Why did I need an elephant? Well, I mean, it just, I know that's silly.
It's anthropomorphic art, which is extremely popular right now.
Okay.
And I posted this on X. To me, it's becoming white noise. So many games incorporate it that I see it and it doesn't stand out anymore. And when you look at some of the names of these, medic, diplomat, executioner, mediator, mentor, performer, somebody said, I think it was Mark said, wouldn't that be a cool steampunk theme? It was funny. Friend Bert took one of the cards and went to AI and like made a steampunk human version of it. And we were all like, that's way better than the art on the card. So I agree. If it would have been actual humans, I think it would have popped more. I think we're just kind of tired of the anthropomorphic art that's used in games.
I know we're being nitpicky there, but to your point, it's just like, so what? Stand out, come out different,
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I mean, the colors were amazing. The art that's for these animals, those are pretty cool, but, I just didn't see, the camel, that was a medic. How's a camel a medic?
Yeah. And again, this is subjective, y'all. Y'all may see this and go, I love the cute furry animals. So that doesn't detract from the gameplay at all. It's just something that we all noticed and had a little conversation about.
Yeah. I mean, there's a squirrel in it, so we pulled for the squirrel.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
But here's the thing is, somebody will say, hey, but you guys got a squirrel on your logo. It is, but it's not an anthropomorphic squirrel. It's not acting like a human. It's a squirrel.
It's a squirrel. And he's holding a dice, and squirrels hold dice.
All the time.
They think it's a nut.
What I like about this is on the back of the rule book, they have recommended card sets. So we played the one called First Game. Then we played the one High Interaction, and there was High Interaction. That was messing around with each other, and that was a very low scoring game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to steal your stuff. I'm going to steal your points, etc. Then for the last game, we played the Short Game, which really went through the deck really quick. So if you don't want to use the randomizer, which they have in there, so there's 30 randomized cards where you just randomly deal out some, and that's going to be your set. They have some recommendations for strategic, tactical, guild icon focused, etc. if you want to do a pre-built deck.
And I will say I was tired of the Outcast after second. I was glad not to use it, but I started thinking about that game. I think the Outcast does a great job of pushing you or keeping you from just doing what I did in that last game of having this incredible city, of all these. It's the check. And for some odd reason, I'm like, you know what? Unless I think the Outcast is somewhat needed in almost all of them because of the negative. It's that, oh God, I'm losing my words here. It's the thing that keeps you in balance, keeps everything flowing.
I'm a fan of the game. It's one of those I really enjoy my time. The 3 games I played, I probably will keep this on the shelf because it plays so fast and it's so easy to teach. And I have a lot of games on my shelf already with that follow mechanic. And the follow mechanic to me just keeps you engaged and there's less downtime. Because on everybody's turn, you might get to do something, which I appreciate.
So that is Citizens of the Spark from Thunderworks Game.
Now at Chipotle, our all-new Chipotle Honey Chicken brings Chipotle heat with a touch of sweet. Seared smoked peppers and savory Mexican spices, blended with a hint of pure honey for a perfectly balanced sauce. All combined with fresh, tender chicken hot off the grill, served up in your favorite burrito or bowl. New Chipotle Honey Chicken takes heat and sweet to a whole new level. But it's only at Chipotle for a limited time. Order now in the app for pickup or delivery. Chipotle, for real.
On the day of this recording, Tony, I went to a pre-release event for the new Star Wars Unlimited Legends of the Force. Went to my local game store, and they said it was an extremely successful weekend. They only got 40 pre-release kits in.
Ooh.
They had a pre-release event yesterday. You had 20 people show up, had 20 people show up today, and they said they could have done more, but that's all that they got. So at the store that I play at, it's an extremely hot game. I really like what they do with this new version. It's all about people with the Force. There are ways to generate a Force token. And the new thing is you have Force characters that can use the Force to do something special. Then you have to find a way to regenerate the Force. So that's the whole new gimmick or mechanic that's in this set. I went 1 and 2.
Oh, good for you.
Win in one match is good for me. For every match that you won, you got 2 free packs. What I didn't know at the very end was they had a little special something for those who went 0 and 3. They just said, hey, if you went 0 and 3, you might get a special something. If you went 0 and 3, you got one of the special new 4-player huge play mats that are used in Twin Suns. And I looked at the person that I played and said, I forfeit my last game. She said, too late now. That's my mat. I went, dang it. The one day I don't go 0 and 3. So I got 2 packs. Yay.
Funny.
But I kind of had that sweet game mat.
Always a bridesmaid, dude. Always a bridesmaid. That's funny. I love that. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So tell me, I know you did a video on this. The Force, does it change the game a lot, or it's just another type of mechanic? I mean, sometimes when they release these card games, there's this huge swing, right?
I don't know if it's a swing, but obviously as a mechanic that you have to build around, it's just not, hey, I'm going to use this particular deck and, the Force resource, I'll use that. It's like your deck must be built to use that, which means you're going to want to build characters that can use the Force, which means Force is a subtitle or subtext on a card or a card type. So you would want to use as many things with the Force type as possible in order to be able to take advantage of it. So you have to, for sure, build around it, but it's not one of those things that is everybody's going to do. There'll be people that will still do things that don't even ever use this Force thing at all, if they don't want to. And again, you got to have a mechanic or a way to generate the force. Now, every common base that came out in this set says if a friendly unit attacks, generate a force token. Every base has that. So they give you an easy way. If you want to build a deck to create it, you can. Now, the health of that base is only 28 as opposed to the standard 30. So that's just something you got to take into consideration. But there are also cards that you can put into your deck that will also generate the force.
Okay. All right. Very good then. All right. Well, I mean, I can't wait. I mean, I know we've got a pre-order out, so hopefully that'll be in here shortly and we'll be able to get that. I mean, we haven't been able to play in a while since, real life gets in the way and work and it sucks, but that's okay. We'll get there. Maybe when we get back to a rhythm of game night, I'll be able to get there sooner and we'll be able to get a round in every once in a while.
Yeah. Or maybe we could take a deck to play at Gen Con. Last year we had a late night kind of game night. That was kind of fun. Maybe we could do that too.
We played Twin Suns, and if you had that game mat, that would be even better.
Oh, that hurts.
Thank you.
It's a nice mat too. Okay. A video game that I'm playing that you might be interested. I'm pointing at the camera. You might be interested in Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma. Have you ever heard of the series of games called Rune Factory?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a farming style game sort of deal. Have you ever played a farming game?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley?
I know. Yeah. What's a little bit, and what's the one with the Bell? I didn't play the Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. Yeah. I think Animal Crossing to me has that same type of feel to it. Okay. Rune Valley has the farming in it, but there's also the RPG element, taking a character, going out, fighting monsters, leveling up, getting stuff, going to a blacksmith because you built a blacksmith building and hired a blacksmith to come in so you could forge new weapons, upgrade existing weapons, but you got to be able to pay for this stuff. So you go out there, you plant your fields, you hire workers to come out and get the crops for you, but they demand money, so you need to make sure that you have enough at the end of each day to cover their wages, but you need a little extra for yourself so that you can make sure to craft stuff, and then you're going to cook, because everywhere out there, there's places to cook, but as you fight, you get recipes so that you sit down and you can cook and get your health potions and stuff. So it's this cycle of stuff that, sometimes I just want to go set up in my farm and make sure everything's looking good there, or build some buildings, or, I just want to go out and fight. So I'm going to go out and fight some stuff. And I got a party of characters that I can take with me. Maybe I want a healer. Maybe I want a range guy. I don't control them. They just fight on their own. And then I kind of do my own thing. Okay. So I think this is something you might be interested in. And this game, even though it has a Switch 2 box, it works on the Switch 1. Ooh. In fact, on the front of the box, it says, this cartridge includes the Switch 1 version. It's just if you have the Switch 2, you get the little bit prettier graphics. So look into Rune Factory. I will do that. I'm enjoying it. It's one of those games you just can keep coming back to. The story is not deep at all. So it's like, I hadn't played in 2 weeks. It doesn't matter. And it's not like Animal Crossing is like, crap, I forgot to log in. Now everybody moved out. It's not that. It's not a real-time type game like that. Gotcha. Okay. I'll look into it. I'll read a little bit about it. I'll admit I haven't gotten any video games. I tried to pick up Pocket Monster or whatever it was that I bought for the Switch a while back. Yeah, I was enjoying it, but I've got myself trapped. Have you ever played a game where you don't know what to do next? Yep. It doesn't help. And I'm just like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? I even restarted it and I'm like, Can you not get help online? Yes. I think do they still have, what was that place? GameFAQs? Remember when we do GameFAQs? GameFAQs is still around. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Player's guides are out all over the place for every game. So yeah. So that's what I need to go do. Look that up. So with that though, I'm going to let you get back to it. So keep rolling dice and taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Head over to our website, rolldicetakenames.com. That's where you find the links for all of our socials and our Discord channel. We'd love for you to follow us on all the social media, interact with us as we post things. Follow our YouTube channel, because now as Tony and I make these episodes, we're videoing, and sometimes I'll clip out something and put it out there for you to see. Talk to y'all next episode. Maybe we could bring in Vanessa as a third chair. I was actually thinking as the second chair.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Moderation. If you like today's show, why not check out Roll Gay Roleplay? where a merry group of queers face their fears in a fantasy world where social norms aren't the only thing thrown out the window. Join a weird, wonderful, and wacky cast as they go about slaying the most insidious of creatures in the daintiest ways possible. Find Roll Gay Roleplay wherever you get your podcasts.